Look, the thing is, why I keep trying Tesla both long and short. Like this thing, it's the biggest momentum stock out there. Like it's a mega cap momentum stock. You rarely see those. And look, either way it breaks, if it breaks down or breaks higher, this thing is gonna make a 30-40% move either direction easily. And if it breaks out, it could go up more than 50%. So this is why I keep trying it, you know, these starters, you know, risk $2, $3, $4 on it. Because once we get the move, we're gonna get $100, $200 move. So those $2, $3, $4 losses, they kind of take care of itself. But right now it's in that range. But it's getting tighter. It's getting tighter. It's getting tighter. Look at this. It's just getting tighter. The overall pattern. And also the daily range has been really tight the past few sessions. So I don't know. Just patience. Futu? Yeah, Futu. I'm long this one in my Interactive Brokers account. I sold some pre-market. Yep. It broke out of a really nice looking pattern. And it also has great earnings. Okay. I bought 200,000 shares of SLV. I'm only gonna hold it if it closes strong. This thing is just ultra liquid. I bought 200,000 shares. I didn't move the price a single penny. Interesting. You can probably do like 1 million shares on this thing and not move the price. I don't know why it's so thick. It's super thick on the level 2. It's also liquid, obvious, but yeah, I know. It's very slow. It's super slow, but also the stop is ultra tight. Like my stop is what? 0.3%? And you know, if this thing goes, it can make a big move. This thing could easily go up 20-30%. Last time it broke out, it went up 50-60%. So this thing can, even if the ADR is slow, this thing can make big moves. So I kind of like it anyway. But yeah, most you guys probably shouldn't trade it. And it's an ETF, it's a commodity ETF. Like, you know, stay away. NIO, I'm watching this thing. One of these days. One of these days. But you can't let yourself get killed on the front side. You just cannot. You cannot let that happen. You have to wait for the back side, like the VWAP fails. Like I did a small starter, like quarter size. You know, you can't let yourself get killed on it front side. Guys, the most overextended stocks can become even more overextended. Do you guys remember how happy I was selling XBEV from my initial buy in the 37s and then it tanked to like $30? I was so happy. I was like, I thought I was a genius, and now here we are at almost 50. Is you going? Oh, shit, I hesitated on it too long. Man. Oh. I should have... It was such a white candle, like from the low so that... well, at least it looked white. Percentage-wise, it wasn't that big of a move. Oh well. How many stocks can I trade simultaneously? 10? I don't know. I don't remember. 4 or 5 maybe. Exos. Yeah, I don't know. I would prefer more consolidation on Exos. Yeah, then IO is probably gonna go to 25. Question is, how high is it gonna go first? Like 25, that's where the stock was like 3 weeks ago. I don't like Sight or Series B. They're not momentum leaders. There's nothing going on here. Like this is some it's a very random and choppy stock. You can just see on the chart. It doesn't look good to me. And CRSB, it's just also very choppy and it doesn't look clean. Yeah, it had a really good breakout yesterday. Very nice looking breakout. Thoughts on Penn? I think Penn is gonna be great for next week if it doesn't go today, which is, well, it's trying to go. SPWR is a good setup. Not yet. It was a great setup here where we bought it. Unfortunately, I stopped myself out. It's not. It probably needs another 2-3 days to be a good setup. DNLI, dude, DNLI is long gone. Opening range lows was the entry. High 70s, that was the entry on this thing. And there was a potential ad spot when it took out the 5-minute lows, which was in like at 70 or so. That was a potential secondary entry, but it's, yeah. This is the one we talked about yesterday. Yeah, those who were awake, they got it. And if you're day trading it, you probably should be covering a big chunk down here. Solo. Yeah, I would prefer this thing goes up one more day, goes to like low teens or something. That would be great. Resi, what about Resi? I don't see anything here yet. Probably needs to go sideways a bit more. BLFS. It's a grinder type of stock. It's not something, it's more of a maybe an investing stock. It's not really a trading stock, and I don't see a setup there. XBEV and LI now. Damn, I should have done some LI too. That was such a clean one. Just hesitated. The shorting game is so tough. You have to be so quick and so precise with your entries. I think, you know, going long stocks and holding them for weeks and months, it's so much easier. Shorting is just, I don't know, it's just so tough. Like, I've gotten lazier over the years. I realized that some of the best trades I've had, you really don't have to work for them. You just have to wait for the perfect setup, enter it, and then just have to wait. Like some of the home run trades I've had, like in Tesla and the Fastly, etc. All you have to do is just wait. Yeah, CELH. I'm not gonna sell a single share unless it goes to like 40 or something. Then I'm gonna start selling. Like, one of the reasons is it's a very small position. It's not even 1%, or maybe it's like 1.5–2% of my total equity. It's just a tiny portion, like a position. It needs to go up like 50–100% for me to make any meaningful money on it. That's the thing. I don't know. The problem is there's just not that many setups. That's the problem. Like I don't really like buying stuff when there are not many setups. Because in a good market, there's a lot of setups. You have to pass on things left and right. This is more of a selective market, so I try to pass on most. All right, moment of truth for this NIO. If it fails at VWAP, I may add more to on the short. If it fails at VWAP and builds another lower high. If I had stuck to the sell rules, like on NIO, for example, or what was it? Was it NVAX? Yeah, NVAX, man. This one still hurts. I was so happy. I bought it here on a high tide flag. It went up 60–70% in like 2 weeks. I sold it because I thought it was not gonna go much higher, and then it went up another 120% in a month. You know, stick to the sell rules. Just stick to the sell rules. You're gonna make so much more money. You catch a couple of these home runs that just keep going, Man, you're gonna make so much money. XBEV? Yeah, XBEV too. Yeah, XBEV. I guess I should have stuck to the 10-day. But I didn't. Yeah, live. Yeah, you get a real-time lesson, stick to the sell rules. But sometimes, like, it's one of my biggest weaknesses. When a stock goes straight up 40, 50, 60%, I just, I can't resist. I just cannot resist. I just have to sell it. And sometimes I nail it. Like sometimes I sell it near the top. But this year I've had many occasions where the stock goes up another 50, 100%. And I realized I would have made more money if I just stuck to the sell rules. Exactly. The only enemy you have in the markets is the person looking at you in the mirror. That's the only enemy. That's the person you're competing against. You're not competing against algorithms or other market participants. You're competing against yourself. That's the real enemy. And every time I see traders blaming something else for their losses or whatever, you just know they're probably not a successful trader, and they're probably never gonna be. Just know. What's the short target on NIO? There is no target. I guess the first stop would be the 20-day moving average. Damn. I'm not really full size on NIO. I wanted 100,000 shares, but I had to settle with 80. I had to quickly alter my order because it was above my maximum limit. But that's fine. If this thing can now go to 30, I'll still make some decent money. Yeah, Reminiscences is so good. It's just unbelievably good. And everyone says that. Like, it's like everyone's favorite book. There's a reason for it. It's just so timeless. It's just timeless. Look, NIO, like you don't have to catch the top. Like if this thing is gonna go back to 30 or 25 or whatever, I think really the first stop is gonna be the rising 20-day. Like this thing is up so much on the year, there's no reason why it can't go back to the 20-day. And secondary target would be 50-day. Like there's gonna be so much room on the backside to short it. Like you don't have to go like all in a single day. There's gonna be more opportunities to add on it. Same thing with Tesla. Like if this thing is truly gonna go back to 300 or 250 or whatever, if this breakdown attempt sticks, that is, there's gonna be more opportunities to add to this thing. JKS, what's going on here? It's setting up in a really nice way for next week. FSLR is not looking that great anymore. CSIQ looks nice. Oh, CPIC. Nah, I don't know. I don't see anything here. Would I start covering? If you're a day trader, you should probably be mostly covered already. If you're a swing trader, yeah, cover some. This thing could go easily go back to the 10-day over the next few days, maybe next week or something. But yeah. This was a 5-star setup. We talked about it yesterday and the day before. This is how I made my first million, shorting these types of setups. This is the best day trading setup. These extended stocks that are up 3, 4, 5 days in a row, and then they reverse. I don't really look at percentages that closely, but anytime you have something up 100, 200% in a short amount of time, that's when you start paying attention. It also has to do with market cap and stuff like that. Like if it's a large cap stocks, which is LI and XBEV, the percentage move doesn't have to be as big versus something like a micro cap like APVO, right? This thing was up 800%. If you start shorting something like this up 200%, your trading career is gonna be over really quick. But if it's a large cap stock, 200% is an enormous move. Just enormous. 200% in a few days or a few weeks, say. Exactly, larger float and larger market cap harder to extend. I may, or if it closes weak, I may hold it over into the weekend. NIO, I haven't covered a single share. I think this thing is, there's no support until the 10-day. There's just really no support. This thing is so extended. I mean, this thing is up, or was up, 2,200, almost 2,300% from the March lows. And this is a large cap. Almost 50 billion market cap. That's insane. Insane. You know, I'm gonna go for a home run on this thing. If I don't make 2 million on this thing, I'm gonna be disappointed. I fucked up JKS. I'm not gonna fuck up NIO. JKS was a $2 million opportunity. NIO, I'm gonna go for the home run on this thing. Through earnings, it depends on where it is on. If this thing goes down to 40 into earnings, yes, I'm gonna hold a bunch into the earnings, because then I will have a profit cushion. But if the earnings would be today after the close and it closes like this, I would probably size down significantly, and I would be watching it like a hawk after hours. Yeah, I know, earnings Tuesday. It depends. It depends. It's all about managing risk, as always. If you have a profit cushion, you can risk a little bit more. If you don't, well, then you can't. Then you haven't deserved the risk. Like, there's a lot of things starting to set up for next week. I'm gonna go through my AB stock watch list one by one. Zoom is broken. PDD is too extended. DraftKings is, there's no base here. AMD looks good. It's been in a 3-4 month range now. Looks pretty good on the weekly chart. So this one could be for next week. Palantir is too extended. There's no base here. Square is one. It's building a little base here. This could be good. Peloton is broken for now. Plug is too extended. Roku is building a base here. If it can go sideways a bit more, there could be a setup. Fastly is, well, there was a potential entry yesterday, but this is not really my type of setup when a stock is this broken. They can work, but not really my type. Snapchat is weak today, but it's building a range here. If you can still keep holding the 20-day and go sideways a bit, could be a high tide flag on it next week or so. Shopify, just inside of a big range. I don't really see anything here. Pinterest needs to go sideways. Potential trigger today. D-Dog is broken for now. SC, well, this one I'm long. Doku, if you can go sideways a bit more. It's still building higher lows. Melee starting to look good. If I can tighten up a little bit. Etsy, if I can go sideways a bit more. CrowdStrike, if you can go sideways a bit more. Like, if there's a lot of stocks that have been going sideways for 3-4 months that are starting to set up. Fiverr, this thing is just straight up in a sloppy base. Twilio, if it can go sideways a bit more. Snow, I don't see anything here. TTD is a little bit extended. This needs more work. Beck, yeah, this needs more work. This one looks broken. Beely looks good. They have earnings the 18th. Yeah, but it does look good. There could be a potential entry here today, but it's in a sloppy base. It really needs to break this 49.50 or so. But it looks good otherwise. It's in a long base, been building higher lows for like four months. Chewy, we can go sideways a bit. Or actually, this thing could be ready if it just breaks out of this range. MDB, if it can tighten up a little bit, would look really good. Like, there's a lot of things setting up. A lot of bases in the making. This one is broken. GBTC, I'm long. Net needs to go sideways a bit, but it's building a potential high tide flag. EMPH, same thing, potential flag here. Spotify in a long base, just needs to break out. CES needs a little bit more time. First Solar, as long as it doesn't break down, it looks pretty good. Just needs a few more days. Wix looks weak. ALGN looks decent. Needs a bit more sideways. Coupa, this thing looks really good. This thing almost looks ready. Look at the weekly chart, looks great. Viva looks broken for now. SPWR, it's a bit more sideways. Apps, you know, most of these, they just need a little bit more sideways action and they would look really good. Exas is another one. HCMP. Yeah, like, yeah. There's a lot of stocks that are potentially setting up. Potentially. AVLR, this is a thin one, but right now most of these are in a range. So there's nothing there yet on most of them. Weekly charts don't work exactly the same as the daily, but I sometimes, when something looks very choppy on the daily chart, and then you look at the weekly chart and it looks really clean. So the weekly charts there's less noise. Fundamental, guys, every day is a swing trading school. You know, I talk about these earnings trades and stuff like that almost every day. Every day is swing trading school and fundamental trading school and short trading school and this and that. Big, it's in a long base, been building higher lows for a long time. But it's a discount store. Like, these types don't tend to be like momentum stocks. You know, it's a tough sector. CGC, what's going on here? Yeah, it's high tide flagging. And this thing actually has really good revenue growth too. It's one of the quality wheat stocks, I guess. LAC, it's building higher lows, but still, I don't know. It's like, I was long this thing for like 3 months before, but now I don't know. I don't see anything here right now. Okay, next stop on NIO is, I guess, like 41 or so, low 40s. I haven't covered a single share. I don't give a shit. Unless this thing becomes $1 million trade, I don't care if it stops me out break even. Citron was perfect with their timing. Sometimes Citron is really good with their timing. They wait for the same setup like I do. I've noticed on a lot of stocks, they wait for the same parabolic setup and then they do a hit piece. They're smart. Sometimes they're too early and they get run over. I don't know what their risk management is, but this Citron up a lot already. Wasn't they up like 50% on the year? So I guess they're pretty good. Wow, it's like there was no support in this NIO. It's just cutting through everything. That's what happens with these. Oh my god, I'm so happy I at least did XBEV. Where is LI? Oh wow, LI actually went red on a day. And the great part about these China EVs, they're easy to borrow. You don't have to pay these extreme borrow fees. Like APVO, when I held it overnight from here to here, I probably paid like, I don't know, close to 100k in borrow fees in 2 days. I just hate, I mean, these small micro caps can be really tempting to short when you get these perfect setups like APVO. That was just perfect. I wish I'd done more size. I had 70,000 shares located, but I only shorted like 42,000 or something. I should have done more, and I should have covered it more aggressively, I guess, but whatever. Why APVO? Because it was up 5 days in a row, and it was up, what, 800%? That's why. And then you just wait for the weakness. Opening range lows, lower highs, VWAP fails. You wait for those set risk reward opportunities. And we got them. They were like 3 perfect entries on APVO intraday before the big fade. Why the 5th day? Because the 4th day there was no setup there. It was just a grind. It wasn't even up that much. Like a 300% move in 4 days on a micro cap, it's not a big move. On something that's a 2 million float, it's not a big move. It wasn't on my radar even. And then I saw it pre-market on this day here. I think it was at 70 or 80 or something, or was it after hours? That's when it got on my radar. That's when I you know, that's where the shorts get exhausted, the early shorts. You wait for those perfect exhaustion opportunities. I've been on early shorts so many times in my life. I just don't want to be there again. It's too much headache. I wait for those opportunities. They don't come often, but when they do. Oh, Nvidia reporting next week. I hope it gaps up over this 550 range on earnings. Maybe goes to around the 700-800. That would be nice. It's flagging really nicely. It's been building higher lows for like what, 3 months. It's kind of getting tighter and tighter. It's like JD when it broke out of earnings here. This was a 5-star setup. I wish I'd done more size. Like when you get these base breakouts on earnings that don't gap up like 20, 15, 20, 30%, but they only gap up maybe 5, 10%. Those are so good. It's exactly what happened on Celsius. It didn't gap up to, you know, a lot. It only gapped up like 10, 12%. BNTX, they have data coming, full data coming in the next few weeks. Right now I don't see anything here. It needs to build a base, and if it can break out on the additional data, maybe we'll get around 150. I don't know.